Here's the emergency spill kits. This is a 20-gallon unit that's used at gas stations to clean up gasoline or diesel spills. I'd like to show you the case itself and the contents so you know what you're looking at. First of all, 20-gallon bucket with a sealable lid. It's sealable so you keep moisture out so that the absorbents don't get wet and lose their absorbent capability. To remove the lid, it's got a little plastic catch. You slide the catch off like so, remove the ring, and then you remove the lid to expose the contents of the package. Now inside the package, the first thing you're going to see are nitrile gloves. These are different than the disposable type that you typically see that people use. They're heavy duty. They're designed to come up a little bit further on your wrist to protect you. These will help them keep their skin protected in the event of cleaning things up. Second of all, they have what are called boot protectors. You can wear these over your regular shoes. Basically, it's an oil-resistant material with skid-proof, skid-resistant soles that you slide over your shoes to not infect any problems with your shoes or with your feet or your skin again. Finally, in preparation before we get to the absorbents, you have a 20-gallon bag, all right, of heavy-duty vinyl. Plastic. The purpose of this is when you have a spill, you take the contents of the absorbents that have been used up, you put them in here, and you give them to the proper company to dispose of these the right way. Now let's take a look at what's inside as far as absorbent materials. First of all, you have socks, absorbent socks, and these are 3 inches by 8 feet long. You have 1, 2, 3 of these. All right, these form a barrier to contain the spill as it spreads out on the ground, so it stays contained within a certain area. Followed by that, now you've got to get rid of your liquid that's on the ground. You have absorbent pillows. Now these are 18 by 18. There are 6 of these, and these are the largest size that will fit comfortably in the 20-gallon kit. Again, they have a tremendous amount of capability to sop up a lot of that diesel or gas that's on the ground so you can get rid of it in the plastic bag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Finally, the last component is the one you're probably going to use the most, and these are absorbent pads. They're 15 inches by 18 inches. Now, not all absorbent pads are alike. These are heavy absorbent quality. It's kind of like Bounty towels. They pick up more than the typical absorbent that you're used to, especially fabricated. You've got about 20 of these in the pack to clean up typical messes that you would find around the gas station where gasoline or diesel is soaked out. So that's it for the contents of the case. Next, we're going to show you how to put it all together and maintain it. So here's how you put the spill kit back together. And it's important that you get it together right and sealed in the unit so that the components stay dry and ready to absorb gasoline or diesel and not liquid. First thing that goes in are the absorbent pads. You put these in tight to the side. Then you put in the pillows, all 6 of them, and you make sure the pillows are seated nice and tight and square on the bottom. And that's why you got to use 18 by 18s instead of 18 by 24s. If this was a little bit bigger, it wouldn't fit inside the 20-gallon bucket. So here's 3 of them. You can see we're putting them in nice and tight with my assistant here. All right, keep them coming. Here's another one. If I don't put these in square, I'm not going to be able to cut the lid or shut the lid. And here's another one. So now we're all set with these. The next thing we have to put in, you see it's nice and square, are the absorbent socks. You got to put these in a tight little bowl like this. There's 1. Keep it nice and tight. There's 2. Keep it nice and tight. And there's 3. Next, I find it best to shove your little plastic bag right in this little area down in here. And along with that, you can put your little nylon tie. On top of that, you put your rubber gloves and your boot covers. Next, we put the lid on. This is where it gets tricky. You put your little plastic ring around it, you set it in place. And this is where my assistant comes in. To get this to work, you've got to make sure it's pressed in place. So my assistant would just sit on the bucket. All set to go. Everything is square and on. I can latch and assistant off. All set. here's one last thing to think about with these spill kits. This 20-gallon unit is great. It contains everything you need to respond to a situation at your station. However, as you noticed, it's really tight to pack it. And it's important for this thing to work properly. It's always got to be tight and sealed so that moisture doesn't get into the rags and you absorb that moisture, and that will take away from the ability of those rags to absorb the gasoline. So if you remember, and I practiced a lot, we barely got this thing closed. The latch is a little bit tough to remove, and when you look at the unit itself, man, it is packed tight. And also, we couldn't use the larger absorbent pillows because, frankly, there's just not enough room in this thing to get anything else. So, here's option B. They make a 30-gallon version of that container. Now, the 30-gallon version is about the same diameter as the 20-gallon unit. However, if you measure it, it's about 8 or 9 inches higher. So it does take up a little bit of space. However, there's two things about this that are great. Number one, it's really easy to pack. You don't have to worry about an inexperienced person who's never packed one before running into difficulty and not being able to steal the top. Number two, the way the latch mechanism works on the top is a whole lot better. Let me show you real quick how we can load this thing. Put the unit up, comes off, and just look, we don't even have to be so fussy. We're going to put our pads in, and if you notice now we also have room for our larger pillows. These are 18 by 24, so if you have a big spill, you're going to be able to pick up a lot more fluid. Now this isn't all that difficult. I'm not having to be fussy at all. Put everything in there. Here's my absorbent socks. No fussiness at all. They're in there. We put in our waste bags, boots, and gloves. Look at all the room we got in here. Now I can take the lid, and this lid goes on real easy. No need for anybody to sit on this thing to hold it in place. You pop it in, you tighten up your latch, and all you do is you pop this guy down, it's locked in place. Voila. So you got to think about that one. Which is the way to go? It's up to you and your space requirements, but these two kits are ready to handle just about anything that station, any problems are going to throw at you.